Ever pondered how the human brain processes information and why some people seem to grasp complex concepts faster than others? As we embark on this journey of understanding, let's delve into the fascinating world of holistic learning. Holistic learning is a strategy that encourages us to see subjects not as isolated bodies of knowledge, but as interconnected webs of information. It is the concept of taking a subject in its entirety for effective learning. Rather than memorizing individual facts, holistic learning invites us to understand the broader picture, to see how the pieces fit together to create a comprehensive whole. Imagine for a moment you're piecing together a complex puzzle. You wouldn't focus on one piece in isolation, would you? Instead, you'd try to understand how that piece fits into the larger picture. That's holistic learning in a nutshell. It's about making connections, seeing patterns, and understanding systems. Now, there are some common misconceptions about learning that we need to address. Many believe that learning is simply the act of memorizing facts and figures. However, research shows this approach often leads to shallow understanding and quickly forgotten information. Others think that learning is a linear process where one fact leads to another in a neat, orderly fashion. But our brains don't work like that. They are complex networks where ideas and information are constantly interacting and evolving. Holistic learning is a powerful tool that allows us to harness the brain's natural way of processing information. It encourages us to draw connections between different areas of knowledge and to see the bigger picture. This approach makes learning more meaningful, enjoyable, and ultimately more effective. Remember that holistic learning is not a quick fix or a magic bullet. It requires effort, practice, and a willingness to see things from a different perspective. But the rewards are well worth it. Holistic learning is not just about understanding a topic thoroughly, but it's about interconnecting the knowledge you gain. As we journey further into this topic, let's explore the roadblocks to holistic learning and how we can overcome them. Join me as we unlock the power of holistic learning. Yet, why do many of us struggle to implement this holistic approach to learning? It seems the roadblocks are more common than we might think. One of the biggest culprits is rote memorization. This method of learning, while sometimes necessary, often prevents us from truly understanding the subject matter. We memorize facts, figures, and formulas, but without context, they hold little meaning. Speaking of context, its lack can be another major barrier to holistic learning. Without understanding how pieces of information fit together and relate to the bigger picture, our learning remains fragmented and superficial. Another roadblock is compartmentalized learning methods. We tend to study subjects in isolation, failing to see the interconnections between them. However, the world isn't compartmentalized. Subjects overlap and intertwine in fascinating ways. Understanding these roadblocks is the first step towards overcoming them and embracing a holistic learning approach. So let's get ready to tear down these barriers and open our minds to a fuller, more enriching way of learning. So, how can one overcome these barriers and effectively learn a subject in its entirety? Well, the answer lies in breaking down the process of holistic learning into manageable steps. It's a bit like assembling a puzzle. You can't appreciate the whole picture until you understand how each piece fits together. The first step is to grasp the big picture. This is about understanding the overall structure or framework of the subject you're learning. Imagine you're studying a tree. Instead of focusing on individual leaves, you start by looking at the tree as a whole. You take note of its height, its branches, and its roots. Likewise, in the realm of holistic learning, you need to discern the general concept before delving into the specifics. Next, we move on to connecting new information to what you already know. This is where your prior knowledge comes into play. You see, our brains are wired to find patterns and make connections. So when you learn something new, try to relate it to something you're already familiar with. This could be a concept, an idea, or even an experience. This connection forms a bridge, making it easier for your brain to retrieve the new information when needed. Now let's talk about actively engaging with the material. It's not enough to passively absorb information. You need to interact with it. This could involve questioning assumptions, challenging perspectives, or applying the knowledge in a practical context. The more you interact with the material, the deeper your understanding will be. It's like kneading dough. The more you work it, the smoother and more pliable it becomes. Furthermore, it's important to embrace curiosity and foster a love for learning. Let your questions guide you. If something sparks your interest, explore it. Dive deep. Let your curiosity lead you down rabbit holes. You'd be surprised at how much you can learn when you follow your interests. Lastly, remember to give yourself time to reflect. Reflection is a crucial part of the learning process. It's when your brain processes and consolidates what you've learned. So after a study session, take a moment to pause and reflect on what you've absorbed. What did you find interesting? What was challenging? What connections did you make? Remember, the journey of holistic learning is not a sprint, but a marathon. It requires consistent effort and patience. But with these steps in mind, you're well on your way to mastering the art of holistic learning. And remember, the more you practice, the better you'll get. So keep going, keep learning, and keep growing. Now, let's delve into some strategies that can help you in this journey towards holistic learning. First, let's consider mind maps. Mind maps are visual diagrams that represent concepts and ideas and their relationships with each other. Picture a tree, where the trunk represents the main idea, the branches are subtopics, and the leaves are the details. By creating a mind map, you're essentially constructing a visual representation of your understanding, which can help you see how different concepts are interconnected. Next, let's talk about teaching others. Have you ever heard of the saying, "To teach is to learn twice"? When you explain a concept to someone else, you're not only helping them understand but also reinforcing your own understanding. It prompts you to break down complex ideas into simpler terms, which can help you see the bigger picture. Now let's move on to engaging in discussions. Joining or starting a discussion about a topic can be incredibly beneficial. Different viewpoints can challenge your understanding and push you to think deeper. It's like looking at a sculpture. You can walk around it, see it from different angles, and gain a fuller understanding of its form. Similarly, engaging in discussions allows you to see different perspectives and make meaningful connections between ideas. Lastly, remember to make learning a dynamic process. Don't limit yourself to reading and memorizing. Instead, actively engage with the material. Ask questions, seek answers, and don't be afraid to challenge your understanding. In conclusion, holistic learning isn't about rote memorization or surface-level understanding. It's about seeing the interconnectedness of ideas, understanding the bigger picture, and making meaningful connections. Mind maps, teaching others, engaging in discussions, and active engagement are strategies that can help you on this journey. Remember, these strategies are not a one-size-fits-all solution. They are tools that you can tweak and adjust to suit your unique learning style and needs. These strategies are tools to help you navigate the vast ocean of knowledge and make meaningful connections. So what happens when you start learning holistically? Well, the benefits are manifold. First and foremost, it aids in improved comprehension. By studying a topic in its entirety, you're not just memorizing isolated facts, but understanding the broader context and connections. This means that you're not only learning, but understanding. Two things that are not always synonymous, but with holistic learning, they go hand in hand. Next, we see better retention. Ever studied for hours only to forget everything the next day? That's likely because your brain didn't see a reason to remember. But when you learn holistically, you're weaving a web of knowledge, linking new information to what you already know. Your brain sees patterns and connections, and it's these connections that help solidify the knowledge in your memory. But holistic learning isn't just about remembering things better. It's about being able to apply that knowledge effectively. When you understand the why and how of things, you're better equipped to use that knowledge in real-world situations. This is the difference between knowing a recipe by heart and truly understanding the art of cooking. The latter allows you to improvise, adapt, and create your own culinary masterpieces. Now, let's look at some success stories. Consider the case of Albert Einstein. He didn't just memorize formulas, he understood the fundamental principles of physics. This understanding allowed him to develop the theory of relativity. Or think about Steve Jobs. He understood the importance of design and user experience, not just the technical aspects of computers. This holistic understanding led to the creation of Apple, a revolutionary company in the tech world. These are just some of the countless examples of individuals who have reaped the benefits of holistic learning. They didn't just learn, they understood. They saw the bigger picture. They made connections. And that's what made all the difference. Holistic learning can truly transform your learning experience, making it more effective and enjoyable. So why not give it a try? Start embracing the power of holistic learning today.